Welcome to The Verdict. Good to see you again. Mick Cornett with Kent Myers, another guest today who's going to tell us things that we probably didn't know.
Well, you're going to talk about investments, securities, and some programs that are being taken into our high schools to tell youngsters about the investment opportunities and cautions to take. Irving Faught has been the administrator of the Oklahoma Securities Commission for a while, and he's back for another visit with us. I think it'll be instructive.
And we'll get to it. You're watching The Verdict. We'll be right back with Irving Faught.
The day Chesapeake chose to focus its entire drilling program on American soil was a day of victory for this country, because our economy, our energy security, and our environment all win. Finding natural gas right here in the U.S. instead of in foreign countries puts dollars in the pockets of American landowners. It also pours tax dollars into city and state treasuries to improve schools and communities. And of course, drilling here creates jobs here. What's more, Chesapeake rewards ambition in the next generations with scholarship dollars, school mentors, and role models. In just a few years, we've built the nation's #1 drilling program, delivering clean-burning energy that brings independence and prosperity home to our neighbors and our nation. Chesapeake. Natural gas wins the day.
And Blankenship has stopped at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Leaving it 4th and 7 on the Tiger 46-yard line. 38 seconds on the clock. The Tigers have no choice but to go for it. Wiggins in to do the kicking. Here's the snap. And the kick is away.
Hi, this is James Garner.
Hi, this is Reba McEntire.
Hi, this is Johnny Bench. Hi, I'm Barry Switzer.
Hey everybody, this is Vince Gill,
Welcome to my home state of Oklahoma.
where we'll be celebrating 100 years of statehood.
In 2007.
Our strength is our people, and the 2,100 Oklahomans from the Cox Communications family are proud to be part of Oklahoma's story. Cox and Oklahoma, true partners.
Happy birthday, Oklahoma.
Gather round. It's time to share Boomerang, the network dedicated to classic cartoons. Television your family can watch together. Cox Communications brings your kids the characters they love. So sit down with your loved ones. It's time to share Boomerang.
Came home! Now, Boomerang is on Cox. Catch your favorite cartoons on Cox Digital Channel 148.
Welcome back to The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Myers, and Kent's going to introduce today's guest.
We are very pleased to once again invite and have appear Irving Faught. Irving is the administrator of the Oklahoma Securities Commission. He did his undergraduate work at the University of Oklahoma and his law work at the University of Virginia. He was in private practice for a number of years with the Andrews Davis firm in Oklahoma City, where he engaged in the corporate practice as well as securities practice. He's one of the authors of the Oklahoma Business Organization booklet dealing with how organizations in Oklahoma are organized and formed and how they operate. He's an adjunct professor of law at the University of Oklahoma College of Law. This is his second appearance on The Verdict. Irving, welcome back.
Thank you, Kent. It's a pleasure to be here.
You're the administrator of the Securities Commission. You've held that post for a while. How's that going, and do you like it?
I love it. It's a great job. I'll tell you, it's very satisfying to be able to come in and remedy a situation where people have lost money, take the bad guy out of circulation, sometimes put him in jail. While that's satisfying to an extent, we're always there after the fact, after somebody's lost money, and it's very difficult to get the money back. So that leads me to the second thing I like about the job, and that's what we're going to talk about mainly today, is investor education. If we can get to the victims before it happens, then that's very satisfying and one of the things that's most appealing about the job.
Let's talk just a minute, Irving, about your department, the commission. Your staff, your mission, where you're located, all of that.
We're located in downtown Oklahoma City in the old First National Tower. We want to be there because we do a lot of court work. And we're like other law firms that practice where you need to be near the courthouse. That's where we are. We have a staff of 27, 14 lawyers, a couple of CPAs, and professional financial investigators make up the bulk of the enforcement staff. That's our primary function, is to stop securities fraud, or certainly to remedy it when it occurs.
Now, I'm sorry, Mick. If someone's coming into Oklahoma to offer an investment opportunity to the citizens of Oklahoma, do they have some registration requirement with your commission?
Yeah, one of our functions also is to register the securities transaction. If you're a startup company or an experienced company and you want to raise money through equity or debt financing, that usually has to be registered both nationally and statewide. Statewide, you'd register it with us unless there's some private offering exemption available to it. Then if you want to sell that security, you have to be registered as a securities professional also. So there's a double registration requirement.
When there are issues out there of legality, are cases brought to your office, or do you have to go out there and find them?
Most of the cases we get, Mayor, come from complaints. Citizens who have been wronged, they will file a complaint with our office and we'll pursue it. A small amount of cases are discovered when we go out on an unannounced examination of a broker-dealer's office, but that's a very rare case. Most of the time, we'll follow up and investigate a complaint from the citizens.
And who prosecutes the case ultimately?
We prosecute the cases civilly. We only have civil jurisdiction. If there's a criminal matter, we'll turn it over to the local Oklahoma prosecutor or the federal prosecutor in Oklahoma City.
What's the Invest Ed program?
The Invest Ed program is our partnership with the University of Oklahoma Continuing Education Division, whereby we try to plan programs that will help prevent someone from becoming a victim of securities fraud. Invest Ed has many aspects to it. We try to reach our primary audience that we try to reach through multimedia programs, through meetings and town meetings, are a 35-year-old group and above. We found statistically that is the person that suffers most from securities fraud. Our secondary target are seniors. They're the most vulnerable set of victims, and so we want to be very protective of them.
Do people usually know the person that commits the fraud upon them? Or is it a stranger?
No, it's usually through the contacts that they have. They've been sought out by the con artist. That's what a con artist is, a confidence man. He seeks out people and gains their confidence, and that may be in a friendship role, it may be in a professional role, somebody that has access to their financial information, possibly an accountant. The real flim-flam guys, though, travel through, but they'll spend time establishing this affinity relationship with the victim.
We have some videotape that tells us more about the Invest Ed program. Why don't we take a look at that videotape and then discuss it?
This is the Invest Ed Investment Minute, the voice of investor protection in Oklahoma. Securities fraud is a growing threat in Oklahoma. What is securities fraud and who does it affect? Securities fraud is the offer, sale, or purchase of an investment in a security, like stocks or bonds, by any scheme to swindle investors out of their money. Educated married men with above average income and seniors are likely to be targeted. Victims are often under stress, such as illness, a recent death of a spouse, legal or financial problems. Con artists prey on all people regardless of wealth or education. Anyone can be a victim. Invest Ed is devoted to helping you avoid becoming a victim through unbiased education. This TV series will help make you aware of common securities frauds and how to protect yourself. The Invest Ed Investment Minute is designed to educate you about securities fraud.
Some good information there, and good information, obviously the website can help people too. What sort of feedback are you getting toward this proactive approach to trying to keep people from being swindled?
There's two primary reactions that we've found so far. One is people will appreciate it. They'll call in and say, well, thank you, I didn't really know that. I didn't know the Securities Commission in Oklahoma was there to help us. This very thing happened to my grandmother, or this very thing happened to my aunt. The other one are from professionals who will see the spots and call in and say, we really like that spot. Thank you a lot for educating the people. The guys that are legitimate want good products out there and good behavior. So they kind of appreciate that. And then sometimes we get people that didn't like the spots at all, you know.
Well, let's talk about spots just a minute, just for fun.
Yeah.
How in the world did you get Rex Lynn into Oklahoma City, and I think into the lobby of the old First National Bank?
Yeah,
if I'm identifying
that is
that
it.
location.
That's that shot, and there's a lot of history in that bank, and a lot of, it's identified with financial transactions, and we thought it made a good backdrop to use, and it's a beautiful place too. The concept for the documentary films was based on me watching the forensic fraud shows on television. I found them terrifically entertaining and thinking, boy, how can they make test tube examination stuff interesting drama? Well, they do. And of course, one of my favorite ones is Miami CSI, and Rex is a star of that show. I knew he was from Oklahoma City, had grown up in Oklahoma City. I knew his dad. You probably do too. And I thought he was a very talented person that would be a good identity, brand identity for us. And then the people at OU also knew him and knew how to contact him. So they're really the result that brought him here. And he is very eager about the project and enjoys doing it as a public service.
Irving Faught is the administrator of the Securities Commission. We'll be right back with more. You're watching The Verdict.
The Journal-Record is pleased to be a sponsor of The Verdict. The Journal-Record, since 1903, the best source of Oklahoma business news and legal information.
Shining is taking responsibility. At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma, we know managing your health care can be overwhelming, and it's our job to help you meet the challenge. By guiding, supporting, and showing the way, we encourage you to gain control. Because we believe the best tool we can give you is the confidence to take charge. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Oklahoma, shining through.
That land next door was a mess. Take more than a lawnmower to revive that land. I heard the oil and natural gas people was cleaning up old oil sites, and it wouldn't cost us a plug nickel. Oh yes, sir, it was quite a revival. The whole church showed up, want to make a playground for the kids. It sure is a blessing.
Wilsey, Meyer, Eatman, Tate. We're accountants. We do taxes, business valuations, estate planning, and consulting. And we're right here in Oklahoma, working with the owners of small and medium-sized businesses. Steve Wilsey and Stuart Meyer have the resources and the experience. Wilsey, Meyer, Eatman, Tate in Oklahoma City and Tulsa.
Lots of parents install alarm systems to protect their homes from prowlers. But how do you protect your kids from the predators who prowl the internet? Teach your kids not to talk to strangers online and never to share personal information. Monitor where they're going on the web. It's not nosy, it's good parenting. I'm proud to partner with Cox Communications to help safeguard our nation's children. To learn more, visit cox.com/takecharge. Our children are our crown jewels. Let's protect them.
Looks like somebody doesn't want you to know the facts about Cox Digital Telephone. Maybe it's because over 1.5 million customers are saving big, and you can too. Plus, you'll save even more on all your Cox services when you bundle today.
Oh, here's that new phone service I've been hearing about.
So while the phone company may not like competition,
Nice dog.
you're gonna love it.
Nice doggy.
Welcome back to The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Myers and Irving Faught with the Securities Commission.
Irving, back to the Invest Ed program a little bit. Can you expand some on what kind of feedback you're getting in relation to those Rex Lynn commercials?
And we run, this current program is a 26-week program of 60-second spots that we try to put out throughout Oklahoma in conjunction with radio spots that cover similar matters and some rural or not the big circulation newspaper articles to back it all up. The goal of that is to send people to the website for more in-depth understanding. In other words, if you give them books or pamphlets, they're liable to throw them away. But if they remember a media spot, we might send them back to the website. We've had a 26% increase in the month of April and May when these started running on our website hits. Wow. And that's our goal.
Let's take a look at another spot that you did on this program.
Invest Ed Investment Minute, the voice of investor protection in Oklahoma. To help you avoid becoming a victim of investment fraud, we've put together a list of questions you should ask yourself before investing. Why was I offered this deal? How was I chosen? Why am I interested? Do I want to gamble? Can I afford to lose my entire investment? Do I understand the risk of loss? What is the basis for the purchase price? Proven earnings? Speculation? What do I know about management? Where's the business located? How long have they been in business? Have they made money for investors before? If you answer these questions carefully before investing, they could save you time and money, not to mention heartache. For more on protecting your investment or other investor education resources, visit investedok.org today. The Invest Ed Investment Minute is designed to educate you about securities fraud.
Sometimes it reminds me of that old saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Is that pretty good information to have?
That is very good information to have in a tense, stressful situation. If you can remember those catchphrases, might be very helpful to you.
Now, we know that the younger you are, the less likely you are to be sophisticated about being able to handle money. So I would think that an educational program that could be in the high schools would be very appropriate. Is there a chance that you guys can get in there?
Yeah, we have initiated a program the last couple of years in the high schools called the STARS program. And that is a fundamental education of teachers about investment and personal finance related to investments and savings. We educate the teachers down at OU in a training session during the summer, and then on 1 week they take their weekends off to learn it. And then we've given them a program to implement in any curriculum that they have. And it ranges from math to social science to any other class they have, where we have the students put together a portfolio by research using the internet and all the communications facilities that are available to them to research projects, put those down in a portfolio of investments and track that for the semester. Then at the end of that semester, they write an essay that they tell us what they've done, the process by which they have chosen the various alternatives that are available to them, and then the result and what did they learn. The teachers grade them, then they send them to OU, and then they come up to the commission, and we award a prize to the student that best communicates that from the 4 quadrants. There'll be a winner from each quadrant of the state, and one from Tulsa and one from Oklahoma City. Very satisfying program.
And what department at OU is it that you partner with?
Continuing education.
Does the state of the Oklahoma economy have any bearing on your enforcement activities? What types of schemes you're looking at?
Well, I think you'll see activity increase in the fraud area when when times are good. When the oil business is good, for example, you'll see more oil and gas frauds. If the price of gasoline goes up, everybody thinks they can get into the oil business. So it correlates in that way. And when times are bad, if there's low interest rate and people on fixed income can't get the money they need, they become very susceptible to, if it's too good to be true, or 18% or 30% return type frauds.
So you're busy no matter whether the economy is good or not.
We seem to be fairly busy whether it's good or not.
Does Oklahoma seem to get more than its fair share of swindlers, or can you tell?
That would be a difficult thing to measure. I don't think so. I think the states with high income people, the coast states, New York and California, have probably bigger ratios than Oklahoma does.
Are you a member of any national organization of administrators or enforcement people that keeps you up to date on what's going on nationwide?
Yeah, there's a very effective group called the North American Securities Administrators Association. It offices in Washington, D.C., and its main function is to educate the provincial or state regulators.
I would imagine the internet as a medium has changed the role that you play in society. Not that there aren't legitimate people on the internet trying to raise money for security issues, but I assume that there's also some that are less scrupulous.
Yeah, the internet is a great medium for a lot of things. I research everything I do on it. I'm sure you guys do too. But that also means then that it's a great medium of communication for fraudsters and con artists. So they have a much bigger audience than they ever had before. So that makes our work a little tougher. Jurisdictionally, when internet frauds come into Oklahoma, we don't have the resources or the jurisdictional capability of stopping somebody that's offshore or coming from Africa or Europe. So it's made our job harder, but then we just work with the national organizations and try to arrive at a good result.
Sometimes you see an email that, you read it and you think, well, who would fall for this one?
Right.
But you assume somebody is. What's the most intriguing or creative way you've seen these people use the internet or email to try and lure people in?
Well, some of the most creative things I've seen are the fake email that went to the wrong person. Dear Tommy, just heard about this great stock tip. Got to go now, but here's XYZ company. Be sure to invest in it. Well, then the recipient of that thinks, well, somebody, by mistake, sent me a hot tip. And so they'll go on and invest in it. That's a fairly creative way to pump up the value of a otherwise valueless stock.
We see from time to time information about inquiries coming from Africa about if you'll send me some money, you'll free up some money, then we'll deposit it in your account in the United States. It comes from Nigeria or someplace like that. I guess those are things with which you deal.
Well, those are really federal post office fraud schemes, use of the mail schemes, and they do originate outside the country. And those are very dangerous, physically dangerous. People deliver money, and we've heard them getting harmed. And so anytime you get anything like that, just ignore it.
Well, what do you see for the Securities Commission and your enforcement activity over the next 10 years? What are going to be your major challenges?
Well, I think, again, it'll be technology, where technology takes us, how the distribution of securities and international markets work. We'll have to be very protective of Oklahomans, even though we're in the middle of the United States, from international markets and situations. And so I see us growing in sophistication, not only of products, investment products, but in technology.
And by technology, largely you're talking about the internet and email
Yes.
and things like that?
Yes.
And, go ahead.
Well, I was just curious, do you have much door-to-door fraud activity? People knocking on the door saying, I'm so-and-so and I'd like to somehow get my hand on your wallet?
Where that happens now is in group meetings. They'll call a meeting at a local community center. And that's the old, what would be door-to-door then. They'll try to get a group of people with similar objectives and goals. Some will come in that they can identify with, and then they'll try to sell them a phony product.
Doesn't sound like you're going to be going out of business anytime soon.
No, but I wish we were.
How many on your staff downtown?
We have 27 at the current.
And is there an office in Tulsa, or do you operate the whole state from here?
We just operate from Oklahoma City.
Is that a pretty standard practice? If you look at other states around the country, is our model pretty much symbolic?
Yeah, it is.
And the Ponzi schemes in Oklahoma, are they on the increase or the decrease?
Well, there's almost every security fraud involves some sort of Ponzi, and we get cases every day.
Right. And Ponzi was a person, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was named after Charles Ponzi.
Charles.
Yeah.
Irving, thanks very much for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
And I hope the education you've allowed people to share today would help somebody down the line. Your website, again, if people want to go on?
Is investedok.org.
Okay, and I'll give that again when we get back after this break. Irving Faught, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you all.
Kent and I'll be back with the final word.
good life comes naturally to Tulsa, where nature's beauty is matched with an eye for aesthetics. A legacy of neighborhoods graced with lawns and landscaping and handsome homes. A place that seems to have patented an ideal lifestyle. Bank First is loyal to the quality of life Tulsa assures its citizens, to the priority placed on education, culture, and growth. Loyal to builders who transform raw land into residential charm. Developers who see opportunity and add vitality to Tulsa's economy. Bank First serves both enterprise and private lives that need a loyal partner. It's how we help nurture this city's very good life. Bank First. Loyal to Oklahoma. Loyal to you.
You need this one to get satellite HD. This one's your DVR. This one's for local channels. This one's...
What are we supposed to do with all this stuff?
Got you covered. Oh, by the way, that old satellite stuff makes a great end table.
That doesn't look so bad, right, honey?
Don't live in satellite denial. Get the latest entertainment without the hassles from Cox, your friend in the digital age.
Cox Channel, following your favorite teams all season long.
Mick Cornett and Kent Myers back to wrap up the show with Irving Faught.
Irving I've known since high school, believe it or not, but he is a guy particularly well suited for this job. He had a very active, sophisticated corporate securities practice as a private practitioner and is really doing the state a real service to assume this position, and we're particularly fortunate to have an administrator that's willing to stay on and do it year after year of the caliber of Irving Faught.
If you need information about the Securities Commission, you can go to their website at investedok.org. That's investedok.org. Kent and I'll have another show next week. We'll see you then.
The preceding program was produced by the Production Services Group at Cox Communications, exclusively for the Cox Channel.